Hey y'all, welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach. Jen will be right here. She is actually getting a feeder because we got some wild stuff to show you all. So this whole weekend, we have been busy. I built two houses for animals, I guess you could say. And I want to show you all. So as I talk through these things, you're going to see a lot of pictures pop up. So as I speak, I'm going to show you the picture just so you can see when we talk about working. However, I didn't film doing them because one, that guy, you already saw me do that. It's a little bit different, but that's the A-frame that I did for the chicken coop. And this, or the goat house, this is now going to be a chicken coop, chicken tractor for 50 bucks or less. Super simple, crazy light. Right here is a new rabbit hutch. That was a little bit more because I used 2x4s, but I would still say, around the $100 mark. But I want to walk you through and show you what I did on these and what you can too if you want to do this as well. Because it's super simple, super easy, and it gets your animals out your house and it gets your rabbits a bigger area to play with. So let's start with the rabbit den. So this is a 4 foot wide, 8 foot length frame. And it's just a rectangle. And then we did 2 foot high. So like I said, you're going to be seeing some pictures pop up here and there, just showing you me and the process of the build, because I did take pictures. But I wanted to make sure I got everything done, so I didn't do a whole lot of video. We'll talk about the door here in just a second, but I wanted to talk about the frame first. So the frame in here, once we clear up, I used 2x4s on the end, like I said, and it's 2 foot high. And then I use the hardware cloth all the way around. So every ounce you see hardware cloth. It's just really good. I like it better than chicken wire, but it is a tad more expensive. But since this is going to be more of a permanent thing, I wanted to make sure that we had what we wanted on it. So that's hardware cloth. That's all the way around. But up on the top, you see I supported it with 1x3s, which is a piece of wood that I really like to use. It's not very durable, but it is good for like supporting things. But that's 1x3s up on the top. But the rest of the frame is all 2x4s. And like I said, it's 4 foot width, 8 foot long, 2 foot high. And all I did was I built 2 boxes, exactly the same. And then I did the 4 legs at 2 foot each. And then I just set them right on top and put them on there. And then I did the little added additions of the support on the top. You like your new house, bunnies? Yeah? I know, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And also what we did underneath the 2x4 all the way around is we laid chicken wire to help with the digging to make sure that they wouldn't do any of that. Another good thing with this hardware cloth, it does hold the waters a lot easier. Okay, the door, we put it on the top. It's big enough to where I can actually step in and get to it. But it is, you're gonna have to cut this however you wanna measure it, but I put a 1x3 here, and that's what my hinges are hooked to, that are underneath here. And so I think ours ended up being, I had some measurements on here. Let's see if I can find them. No, I can't find them. But I think it was around 50 foot wide, I want to say. Well, I know it's 2 foot. 4 foot. Pause, because I started throwing a bunch of numbers everywhere. I know it's 4 foot wide. I just don't know the height of it. But I wanted to make sure it was big enough that I got in it. You can make it however you want. But I just made it out of the 1x3s. And I didn't put any support in the middle. It didn't need it. It was so easy. But it's really nice and light. Got a handle on it. And then I put the lock right here on the edge, just so nothing can get in from the top, but the rabbits ain't gonna get there. But that's the rabbit hutch. The tarp is 6mm construction plastic. So yes, you can use tarps. Yes, they are very durable. Yes, they are expensive. So if you see a tarp on somebody's place, it's because they have them laying around. But if you have to actually physically go buy a tarp, it's not cheap. I mean, if you want something that's kind of durable, you're looking at like 40 bucks for a decent one. So the little bell kicked off in the head, and hi babe.
Hi.
And all the plastic that we use for the hoop houses, here and here, and even the greenhouse, but it's a little different. But the two we use for the hoop houses are the exact same thing, only they're clear plastic. I did not want to use the clear plastic because I didn't want it to turn into a greenhouse on them. I wanted it to be a spot where they could get out of the wind, get out of the rain, stay dry. So that's why we use the 6mm construction plastic that you can find at Lowe's. It's much cheaper. It was $25 for, I want to say 10x25 roll. So that's really plenty of room, all that you need. It actually covered this and that. which we'll talk about here in a second. So that is all it is for this rabbit hutch. I want to say it's around $100 just because mainly we use the 2x4s and we use the hardware cloth, which is a little bit more durable, but we knew this was going to be a structure for a while. And the rabbits have upgraded hugely. I mean, they were in this little thing with 4 of them. Now, Daddy has moved back to his original home and is out of his cage, which is where he had nowhere to go. It was just strictly just him in there, us collecting his poop. So he's back in here. What do you think, Pappy? You like your new home? You do, don't you? You can actually get back to the grass.
Didn't he do a good job? I love it. I'm so happy with it. The rabbits are happy. It's just so much better than what they were in. And now they can just live their happy little lives and have grass all the time and plenty of room to roam, and they'll stay dry and warm. And Peppy's happy too. So now we're going to show you the next thing.
Okay, because I feel like I ran through that, I'm probably not going to post any pictures in the middle of while talking, because y'all know what I do. I talk too fast, I ramble too long, and so there's probably not going to be time to clip them. So I'm going to roll those pictures for just the rabbit hutch now. Okay, so you got to see the build process just then. Of course, it was just pictures. I'm sorry about that. We had so much to do. I just had to run through it and do it. But I wanted to make sure I took pictures at each step so you kind of saw what I did. But if you have any questions and you want to build one of these, hit it down in the comments below. I'm happy to answer when it comes to measurements. Besides the door is however big you want to do it. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. It's whatever you want. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer any of them for you. And let me know if you have any better suggestions. Before we even go any further, yes, wheels will be added to both of these. They just weren't added yet. They're going to stay here for a little bit because there's no green grass. It's wintertime, so there's not a whole lot for them to be munching on anyways. But we will be moving these things around, and they're both very light that it's easy to do. The only reason I'm going to add wheels is just so it doesn't pull any of the wire, pull any of the boards, or get caught on anything, and the wheels will just make it easier. So yes, those will be added. But please, let me know if you have any questions. I hope you all like it. I know the rabbits absolutely love it. What about you, babe?
Love it.
Love it. So now, let's talk about that thing. Why didn't you build it?
I helped.
You did help. She helped a lot. And so now the pictures, you didn't see any of us in it. But we both did that together. So we had said that Jen was going to build the rabbit tractor all by herself. We don't do anything in this family all by herself. It's all a joint effort. So she did do most of the parts. She did a lot of the screwing. She did some of the cutting. So she did very much help. Just to make that clear. Anything else you want to say about it?
Yeah, I love it.
Love it. What I am sitting in is our meat, chicken, and turkey tractor for $50. And it's super easy to build, you all. So if you caught a few episodes ago, I did one of these at 8 foot high, and it turned into being a really nice structure. So we ended up using it for our female goats for the winter because it was big, it was nice, it was warm, and it was very sturdy. So they got that A-frame. It had tin siding, it had all kinds of the stuff to really make it extra durable. So me and Jim were like, we need to figure out something that's a lot lighter, a lot cheaper, and a lot more temporary for our poultry animals. So this one's only 6 foot high at the peak of the A-frame instead of 8 foot high. So that cut down in cost and boards and all the materials in general. This structure is also 4x8, 4 width, 4 foot wide, 8 foot long with the 6 foot peak. And then so I wanted to talk about the inside before we move to the outside. As you can see, we got just a perfect rectangle 4x8 square. Nothing fancy there at all. I just put the 4 foot boards on top of the 8 foot, so that actually lost us about an inch on each one. But I used all 1x3 boards here. They're much lighter, much easier, and much cheaper. So that's 1x3 boards that are all on the inside. I put supports in the middle and at the top, Jen also helped me do this. I couldn't have done it without her. So you got supports at the top, supports in the middle, and then the bottom is just the frame. And then so for the actual A-frames, you just put them on the outside, touch them to the ground, and screw down into your frame. And that's all you need to do to hold them on there. But this is kind of what the inside looks like. I wanted you all to have a good shot of the frame. Took you for a wild ride to truly see how this looked here. And then now we're gonna go on the outside and I'll show you a little bit more out there too. First off, the door. Something different, because a lot of tractors you're gonna see that look like this, the door is right here. So because we made this only 6 foot high, it was a lot tighter, and we're gonna have to get in here and get these chickens and turkeys at some point, and I didn't want to have to crawl through that hole. So we decided to put our door on this side so we could have it much bigger, as big as we wanted to go. So it's about 4 foot wide, I would say, and probably almost 4 foot tall. It was almost identical in size, but it's a little bit shorter in height. So as you can see, the door can go all the way up, drop it down, and lock it into place. So there's the door. We cut out the tarp so it wouldn't be on there and cover anything up. It gives them a little bit more ventilation. But they have one full side, one full back, and then this like 3/4 side of tarped over that'll keep them in the shade. Well, not really the shade because it's winter, but keep them out of the rain and keep them out of the wind. So this is kind of how this hoop is set up. This is the same tarp 6mm construction plastic that we use. Backside completely covered. And what we use was staples everywhere to kind of keep everything down. We did use chicken wire on this one instead of the hardware cloth for the most part. That's a lot cheaper in cost. So if you're looking for a more cheaper cost, get the hardware cloth. And it's got water in it, so it won't be as light. Yeah, that water's making it heavy. Let me grab you on this side so you can kind of see. It's very light. Me and Jen brought it in here. I guarantee you that the kids could do it. If you took that water out, it would be even lighter. So that is our $50 chicken coop. I also took a bunch of pictures with it. So if you want to see those, it's coming at you right now. Okay, now that you saw the pictures of the build, you might have some further questions on how we did it, but the basic structure, 4 foot wide, 8 foot long, same as the rabbit hutch, 6 foot peak. Now, what you're gonna see on a lot of that is you're gonna have 8 foot 1x3 boards. So it is a little cutting, but to keep down on the lightness, keep down on materials with the chicken wire, with the tarp, etc., I wanted to move it to 6 foot. It also just makes it a little bit easier to move around as well, instead of being so top heavy. I think it took a total about 15 1x3s, so that's about 15 bucks. They're just a little bit over $1 a piece. And mainly you got the other costs for the hinges, the chicken wire, which we got for about 12 bucks for a 50-foot roll at 2 foot high. We bought 2 of them, which we didn't need. We barely even got into the second one. And then the tarp was left over from the rabbit hutch tarp, and so that was about, I think we're going to say about 12 bucks there. So we got 12 bucks, 15 bucks. Once we got into the chicken wire, that was another 12, 15, $20 maybe. So we're right at 50 or under. The rest is your screws, your handles, your locks, and stuff like that. But it is incredibly cheap and so easy. So that is the structure build. Please let me know any questions that you have or comments. Like I said, they all will be getting wheels added to them in the back. But if you want to build this and you have a question, please ask. I will answer, and just let me know. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let Jen run through more of what we're actually going to do with this, because they're not going to live in there forever. So I'm going to go get the chickens and turkeys while she talks to you about the temporary plans and then the long-term plans with this coop itself.
So as you can see, we are in the backyard, and that's the rabbit tractor, which is where they're always going to be. They always live in our backyard because we like them close to the garden because we use their poop for fertilizer. The meat chickens were not planned to be in the backyard, and they're not going to be forever. So they're still fairly little. They're a few weeks old. They're almost regulating their temperatures, and we're not going to have many freezing nights for the next few weeks. But keeping them here in the backyard in this coop for the next few weeks is ideal because we have an extension cord ran and we can put a heat lamp in there until they get a little bit bigger. Once they get a little bit bigger and they no longer need heat, then we'll put them over there in the electric fence. What I don't know if you can see, but that's going to be their permanent home, and this coop for them is just for sleeping and staying dry. Once they get out of that coop into the electric fence, they'll free range and they'll have all kinds of grass and all the good stuff that they need, but this is going to keep them safe and warm while they're little. So Zach went to get them and we're going to show you.
Okay, we'll see how much you can see of this, but we got all of our turkeys, 7 turkeys, 20 chickens. Our turkeys are
Broad-breasted.
White broad-breasted turkeys and Cornish cross chickens. So let's let them out, let them have their new place.
So I think they're pretty happy. They've got that heat lamp like I was talking about to keep them warm until they get a little bit bigger, and then they won't need it anymore. Here you go, turkeys.
They see the door wide open. Yum.
I think they like the grass. They've never felt grass. Nice. They've got their water over here, and we're gonna hang their food here in just a second. And they'll have their food all day until nighttime when we take it away. You take it away for 12 hours after they're 5 days old. And that's just kind of the process that they go through. It keeps them safe and growing at a good rate. And I think they're gonna love it. So there it is, their little coop. And that's their food. We've got it stored in this tote so that it'll stay dry, and it'll just be right here so we can give it to them easily. And they're all in there, hanging out.
I hate chicken wire, like with a passion. And especially if you're using these flimsy 1x3 boards, you're not gonna get, I call them U-nails, I think they're just called staples, but it's hammering staples. It's not ones that go into here. That's really not gonna work on this. So just an FYI, if you mess with chicken wire, you probably already know, but get you a good stapler. It can be auto or it can be hand pumped, but that's what I use to keep all this chicken wire on, and it's such a time saver. You know, if you've messed with chicken wire long enough, you know that hammering U-nail is not gonna work very long, and you got to get one of these. Thankfully, our good friends Grace and Bradley had one, so they let us borrow. We just had to get the staples. But I'm gonna go through because we transported it from the garage, which if you saw all those pictures, that's my stepdad's garage. Now that it's getting wintertime, it's nice to work in there where it's warm. And these are so light, it was easy to move. But I'm gonna go through and re-staple a few spots just because it kind of came loose in the traveling. But make sure you have you a good stapler if you want to tackle anything like this. So if you follow our journey, or if you're new and you just wanted to see a cheap tractor, I hope you enjoyed this. We love it. We think it's super simple. You know, the tarp might not look the best, but it does the job.
Yep.
And it keeps it light. So we already have some summer plans. You know, this is very winter setup with the black tarp. In the summer, we'll probably take it off since it's all chicken wire. That's why we went ahead and did all the chicken wire. So we could take that tarp off if we wanted to, or slim it down. You know, we have those options using the tarp and not being wasteful, really. So $50 chicken tractor, $100 rabbit hutch. Can't beat it. $150 weekend. We no longer have animals in our house.
Yep.
Hallelujah. These daggone things were jumping from tote to tote. I had one turkey was running around the living room. Did you already tell them that?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
I came in, there's the cat, Ellie, and the turkey just running around in the living room. It was absolutely crazy, but I'm happy they're out. I know they are. We're not going to drop below freezing. I don't know if I've already told you that or not. We're not going to drop below freezing for like the next 8 days. So they'll be fine.
Yep, we're pretty excited. This is our first meat animal, and we're going to keep them safe here until they get a little bit older and move them to the fence, and we're just pretty excited about it. And
Very excited.
they'll get lots of human interaction because they're right in our backyard. So.
Yeah, dogs too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so everything's good. Everybody's happy. We're happy, and now it's time to rest.
Yep, that's right.
All right, y'all.
We love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.